Oh, hello everybody. Hold on a second. We seem to be having technical issues. Alright, well, we're gonna get started anyway. Even though you can't see my face, you don't really need to see my face for this, right? Um, so today we have on the bench what I like to call the Farmer Tan LC3. And so you can kind of guess why I call it the Farmer Tan LC3 because, well, it looks like it's got a farmer tan. Um, so what we're gonna do is restore this thing, hopefully make it look less like it has a farmer tan, and then we're gonna give this thing away. And so first, I want to thank Adam and Garth Beagle for being here. How's it going, guys? Good to see you. Um, Yeah, it's just patina, right? It's not really anything to worry about. um, all right, so let's take a look at this thing. So um, we could, yeah, just make the rest of it yellow. Get everything this really nice PC beige color because everyone loves PC beige color. So I haven't done too much with this thing yet. I have popped it open just to make sure that there was nothing major happening inside. But what we can see here is we have a pretty clean system. So today what we're going to do is recap the motherboard. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Okay. And if we look at this thing, it's generally pretty clean. But if we look a little bit closer, you can kind of make out some residue around our cap friends here. So these things have started to leak. And so we got to get rid of these things and make them nice and clean. These boards, these systems, the LC3, are really great to work on. So very modular. Just move some little pieces of plastic around, pop things out. Very few screws that we have to deal with there. The floppy's out. Pull out the power supply here. Someone stole the FPU. No, well, I mean, maybe. It's not like these often came with the FPUs. It was kind of, I mean, there weren't many uses for them back in the day. Get that off of there. Someone did steal the hard drive. That's kind of a bummer. I have the original box for this thing that I'll be including too, and I think I remember seeing it had a 160 meg hard drive, which, if I recall, is the biggest that you could get on these. So that was kind of disappointing that we don't have a 160 meg SCSI drive. So you never quite know how brittle the plastic is going to be on these things until you start futzing around with it. Generally, if the color looks that bad, it's going to be kind of brittle, but so far it's working. It's been pretty good. Okay. So for today, I think we're going to focus on just doing the logic board. But for the next stream, I'm gonna, since I've popped it open now, I'm taking a look, make sure to get the recap kit for the power supply. And we'll do that in part 2. I'll do part 2 once the plastic has been retrobrighted. So if we look at this thing, we can get rid of our SCSI cable and the power cable for our hard drive. Get rid of the RAM. I don't know what this is off the top of my head, but I would imagine it's probably either 4 or 8 megs. Oh, Retro Techie did a long, boring Retrobrite stream? Oh, man. If you I should probably set up like an outside webcam so people can see my Retrobrite setup. I just set it outside, and I just keep it in a vat. I don't have it on an interesting turntable or anything like you do, Adam. These things here, we have a nice Saft battery, and by the looks of it, this one has, the battery itself hasn't leaked at all, which is good. But just to be safe, after the stream, I'm going to give this thing a quick vinegar soak just to make sure that there's no residual electrolyte on here. But again, if we look closely around the caps, you can kind of make out there's some residue, there's some things starting to stick, and so yeah, this definitely was not as bad as my Screaming Baby LCIII. This one looks pretty good. All right, so what I'm gonna do, oh shoot, I need a utility knife. I'm going to use the utility knife as a little heat shield. And let's zoom in a little bit more. So I'm going to use that as just a little heat shield right here. And then we're going to pop these off with the hot air station. Yes, sorry for the flickering too. My electric, as I've mentioned before, is not great out here. It could also be that this wiring inside this hot air station is not ideal. Yeah, some people like to do the twist method for releasing capacitors. I think based off of what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be causing the explosion method to remove the capacitors. I'm not a big fan of the twist method. It likes to cause lifted pads. And also, I should mention right here, as I'm hitting this thing with a little bit of hot air, oh, you can see it right there. I'm starting to get some of that nice fish smell. So, yep. There you go. That one was a popper. Okay. So that's those three. Ooh, heated tweezers. And you can see this one, a lot of residue down there. So that one needed to go. Yeah, heated tweezers are definitely something I've thought about getting. I haven't bit the bullet yet. You might see I bought a new microscope today. Hello, Flintlock1. Thank you for stopping by. Is there anyone else I've missed yet? No? So far, just one nice exploding cap. So again, I'm just using a razor blade as like a little heat shield here. And as I'm doing this, you're gonna hear some little crackles and stuff maybe. I'm not pulling on the capacitor. I'm waiting for the hot air station to do the work. And just using the tweezers to sort of test whether it's been released yet. Got one side, there we go. You can see some residue there around those caps. So these all needed to get done. We're not doing this for no reason. This one is the weird cap of the batch. This is a value that we normally don't see very often on Mac boards. This is a 100 microfarad 6.3 volt. It's apparently very slippery. Oh yeah, there's some good fish smell coming off of here. For those interested in this kind of stuff, I do have my hot air station set to 350 degrees Celsius, which is probably a little bit overkill for this board, but generally it kind of helps make quick work of the solder. That one was real fishy smelling. Ow! I just hit it with my forearm. So you gonna buy that Mac 512K, Adam? Okay, that's that one, and we got one more to do here. Oops. Okay, now I think we're done with the hot air station. So we've got our nice pile of stinky fish caps. Goodbye, stinky fish caps. Alright, so if we let's get this off there. Take a look at this board. You can see all that nice black residue around where the caps were. So that was definitely the cap starting to leak. Alright, so let's try out the microscope. Sorry, just a couple more seconds until my hot air station chills out. Okay. So you can see that's definitely not the worst, right? Our traces are all still in really good condition. So luckily we got to this one before too bad stuff started happening. So it was the previous LC versions that supposedly had the castrated bus. I think the LC3 was one of the faster versions of the LC series. People can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think this had the full 32-bit bus, or yeah, was it? Shit. I'm confused now. I've confused myself, Adam. But I think there was like a certain step up between the LC3 and the previous LC models. Okay, so you can see there we got some nice. Thank you, Garth. Okay, this one. See a lot of residue around there. That's what I really like about the Mac community here. There's so many people that know so much stuff. Whenever there's a question, there's always someone that knows the answer. A lot of the times, Garth and Adam are two of the people that know the right answer. Yeah, it would be nice to have the Apple II card for these things. Let's check that one. Gross. How's the microscope looking over the interwebs? Yeah, the LC475 is what I really want. So the LC475 is the 68040 version of this. I got to use one for a little while. Someone sent me an LC475 to fix. That wound up being a nightmare because other people had worked on it previously and done some damage, but also they sort of missed the problem, which was that when the caps went, they got down inside the vias and corroded the vias, so that created all kinds of problems. And eventually, it took a lot of futzing, but eventually I got that one fixed. Didn't Garth? Didn't I see you had like a stack of like 6 LC475s? Hey, the Mad Milkman. How's it going? That makes me think of the Dead Milkman, one of my favorite bands growing up. I think this might be a little bit of just glue. Oh no, it's actually a little corrosion. Look at that. Shoot. Gonna have to fix that post stream, unfortunately. I don't have my UV light here. So I'll come back and clean that up and then put a little solder mask on it to hide it or to cover it up. Alright, so I think we have most of those spots cleaned up. So now what I'm gonna do is come in and clean up the old solder off of these. Oh yeah, I think even right here, if we look at some of the space, well, that one's not as corroded, but yeah, the definitely have some of the solder mask being removed. Yeah, we're gonna need to retreat this. So this was actually a little worse than I thought it was. Look at that. Some Oh, how's that noise? Does that make you feel like you're at the dentist? Yeah, disintegrated plastics of this era are kind of commonplace. Oh, shoot. Alright, well, this is a little worse than I thought it might be. So, yeah, I really don't want to solder new caps on there until I get this solder mask resolved. Alright, let's get all that old solder off real quick. So to get this off, I like to put a little bit of new flux on here. Where else do we have caps? Alright, let's stick that on there. So we're going to use this to get rid of the old solder. Okay, so we got nice shiny traces now. I think I'm gonna have to play with these camera settings. It still doesn't look quite right to me. Take a side, hold your breath as you open up your classic Mac. Yeah, that's yeah. Snipping off some of my solder braid to get to some cleaner stuff. Yeah, the microscope is not ideal. It's actually supposed to be capturing at 16 by 9 or whatever, but the preview window is only giving me 4 by 3, and so I'm having issues. It was a good price, but the camera has been less than awesome. The nice thing about this compared to my old camera is that the working distance is huge. Before, when I would try to work on things, I just didn't have all the space to get the hot air station or the soldering iron under there. But this one has a nice long working distance, so we can get all the things we need. Alright, so this all looks good. That area is cleaned up. Let's see, we got another spot. Yeah, forgive me, folks. I'm still getting used to this camera setup. Or, well, this is actually the inaugural run of my new microscope and camera. Alright, and then we have there. So one of the questions I had for people is that, so one of the first videos I did here when I started my channel was first recapping an LC3, and then I also did a video about overclocking the LC3 and turning it from a 25 megahertz computer into a 33 megahertz computer, essentially converting the LC3 into an LC3 plus. So this is, like I said, is going to be a giveaway computer. Do you think people would want this thing to have the overclock mod on it? Or the other thing I did when I did my mod is I had it selectable via switch. So you could choose whether you wanted it to be the 25 megahertz original or the 33 megahertz overclock. You know, and from benchmarks and stuff, it doesn't make a huge difference, but you know, when you're dealing with a 68030, any little bit can help. So what do you think? Should I do another video doing the overclock mod, or should I just leave this one be? Okay, we got one vote for switch. Another vote for a switch. Okay, so the other thing here, just showing you, I like to use the solder braid as sort of a little abrasive pad to clean up all that corrosion off of here. Make it nice and clean. Make sure we don't have any little spots where the corrosion can be hiding. Alright, there's one thing I want to check, just looking at this one, that trace looks a little weird. Okay, so that trace is good. Let's pop a few of these on here. Show you, oh, yeah, this one I didn't clean up yet. Gonna do that one. Oof. That spot's angry. Let's see what that looks like a little closer. Some nice propanol. I'm wondering if that actually ate through one of the layers. Oh no, we're good. It's just kind of ugly. There's still copper all the way there. That's pretty remarkable though. I've never seen spots like that for these corrosion bits. Adding a little bit of solder there. There we go. That looks a lot better. Alright, now I'm convinced that that spot's okay. Alright, let's zoom. Ooh, that was the wrong way, zoom. Alright, so I'm not gonna do that cap. Let's stick all these on here. These all look fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tin one side of all these traces, or all these solder pads. Okay. And right now I'm only going to tin the ones that I feel like the surrounding area is okay. Who doesn't have at least 4 or 5 actual 2Es laying around? Well, you've come to the right place. How many actual 2Es do you have, Adam? I only have one 2E, and I have one plus, which I need to do some videos about at some point. I need to see if the 2 plus actually works. I bought it like, I don't know how many years ago, and it smells like someone's basement. Like, you know that moisture smell? When you know something's been in the damp for a long time. And I've never actually powered it up because I've been too scared. Hey, Eric's Edge is here. How's it going, Eric? 27 Apple IIes. Gee bus. Oh, golly, that's a lot of 2Es. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to consult. I forgot to take my own notes for what caps should be here. So we're going to check on Bruce's website here. So we're going to start with this 47 microfarad 16 volt right here. Okay, we got our 47 microfarad 16 volts from Mouser. Gonna pull a couple of them out here. Alright, so where's my tweezers? Put a little bit more flux on here, don't need much. Okay, so this side, you can't really see it because of all the glare. There's the plus on that side, so our minus is there. We're going to replace these with tantalum caps, so the plus is the stripy side. In reality, it probably doesn't matter all that much. It just is like, okay, well, where do you like your electrical noise to be? What frequency do you prefer? Okay. So this already is a lot nicer than my old setup, because with my old setup I'd have to come in at such an angle that I'd like hit the expansion port. Put a little bit more solder on that guy. Okay, nice shiny joints. This one, I think, Yeah, is everyone here going? Oh, Garth, you're probably not going to VCF Midwest, are you? I would think Adam and Eric, are you both going to VCF Midwest? Let's check our website again. So recapofmac.com/au, Bruce Rain's website. Okay, so this is a 1000 micro the or 100 microfarad 6.3 volt. This one I don't have a tantalum cap, so this one is going to get this one's going to get a regular old electrolytic. $100 microfarad. So this one was originally $100 microfarad, 6.3 volts. We're replacing it with a higher value, voltage wise, same capacitor, same capacitance value. Yeah, it sounds like VCF Midwest is going to be a killer event. I think I'm going to try to go to the one in Jersey next year. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the this microscope and where everything is. You want more computer stuff, so are you driving there with like a U-Haul, Adam? K-Mac Vintage. Oh, I just saw your channel. I forget who mentioned it. Was it Steve and Ron? I haven't had a chance to check out your stuff yet, but thank you for stopping by. Alright, so now we are on to all of these up here. So what are all these? These are all 10 microfarad, 16 volts. Okay, we got we got one side tinned. Let's grab some of these caps. 10 microfarad, 16 volts. Let's grab. Okay, so it's not like you're just going there to buy a bunch of stuff, Adam. You're gonna actually get rid of some stuff too. That's nice. It's good to get rid of some stuff. I've been trying to get rid of some a Mac Classic and a Mac Plus, if anyone's interested. Alrighty here. So again, so the plus is on this side, so that's where we want to stick our stripe. Gonna put a little bit more flux on this spot. .14-inch Sony PVM would be a pretty awesome score. Do they have a website set up in advance that people are allowed to see what other people are bringing, or is it sort of just a free-for-all when you get there. Shipped home several boxes via FedEx. Oh, geez. My girlfriend would kill me. Okay, so on these, pluses up here, pluses up there. So again, I tinned one of the leads, one of the solder pads. So I'm going to use that to stick the cap down. Again, these are tantalums, so stripe goes towards plus. Let's see how I can solder left hand here. Just as good as right hand, which is not much, not saying much. Alright, so this little corner of the board is done. That little spot is done right there. This one, I think I'm going to hold off because I don't want to chance shorting that out. That's going to need new solder mask, and I don't have my UV light right here. So that was poor planning. And these are a mess. Okay, so what else? Oh, we got one more. Yeah, K-Mac, I'm definitely looking forward to checking out your stuff and getting subscribed. I haven't been there yet. Let's go to the website. This one is 10 microfarad, 16 volt. Yep. Bringing Quadra 700 to sell. Does that mean you plan on flying home first class? Making a ton of money. Someone stopped by my workshop over the weekend, and we were talking about Mac stuff. He saw my collection, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have some of these." I was like, "Do you have an SE30?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, you better. If you don't want to use it, you might want to consider selling it. The prices are kind of ridiculous right now." That's one I don't have. I do not have an SE30. That's one I would like to have. Alright, so let's switch back to the main camera. It's gonna... There. Oh, no, not that. I'm having a technical issue kind of day here. Alright. That's what happens when you push off a stream for too long. Yeah, SE30 or SEHDs, they're nice. I have a couple of them. well, as part of my channel, I've been restoring them, restoring the compact Macs and selling off them to raise money for charity. I have most of them are regular SEs though, so they have the 800K floppy drives. Not particularly exciting. All right, so you can see our board here. I'm gonna leave these off for now. Leave that one off for now. That means I'm not gonna power this thing up. These, I think, help stabilize the main power rails, so I don't want to play with them, particularly if I haven't recapped the power supply yet. But what I do want to do is take a look at this thing. So I have a LCIII, and luckily my LCIII didn't need retro brighting, but this thing, I mean, it looks like a smoker's lung, but in reality, I mean, you can tell by the coloration, this was purely sun or heat related. Let's go back out. So this is going to need some retro brighting, and when I retro bright, I use the soaking method. So that means with this electromagnetic shielding in here, that we're not going to be able to soak this thing like I normally would want to do. And so what I want to do is try to take off this shielding. Let's see how difficult this is. Oh, that's pretty easy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pop off these heat stakes. Okay, and there's one there. Ooh, yeah, a lot. That's kind of a shame, particularly for an SE30 to have burn in. I've been lucky so far. Basically, only 2 of my compact Mac screens are really, really awful. Okay, so that comes out kind of nicely. Well, we have a couple of little retention tabs here. So we have 4 retention tabs here. So how am I going to reattach this shielding? So that's an excellent question. I'm gonna come up with that idea shortly here after I pop this thing off. You know, the easy way would be just use a little hot glue, right? But you know me, I don't particularly like the easy way, so I'm gonna see if I can figure out a hard way here. So that came off pretty easily. This looks way better than mine did. Mine was very rusty. Let's see what we have for space. Okay, so if we look at where the heat stakes were, we have a few millimeters worth of material. So we could use a little bit of epoxy, but I think I'm gonna do my way stupid, way too hard method of putting a really tiny hole in the middle here and using very tiny screws and holding it back on like this. So it's gonna be a little bit of work, but I do the same thing after I retrobrite a Mac SE case, or when I, with a Mac SE, you have to take the battery out before you do your retrobrite. And so when I go to put that back in, I drill a little hole in the middle of where the heat stake goes, and then just put a little screw in there to hold it. And I think we'll be able to get away with that here. The other thing to think about is this. So this is a really nice, bright Apple logo. And so you don't want to retro bright that. The retro brighting will destroy your wonderful Apple logos. And so I will say I destroyed one that way. And so I've learned from experience not to do that. So it seems like every Mac that I've worked on that has one of these little Apple logos is that there's a very tiny hole right behind there that I can't really show you. It's kind of hard to see there. But you can normally cram something in that hole. This is just a little, it's basically like a round Allen screw or round Allen thing that's used to eject CD and floppy drives. Just put that in there, and our Apple logo pops right out. You can see we haven't done any damage to it. Oh, I didn't realize that the Apple II cases were the same way. So I'm going to go stick this somewhere. It could be possible to try a little bit of acetone welding with that. I haven't ever tried that, so it might be a fun experiment. Yeah, good idea, Eric. Alright, so this thing is going to go for a swim. But I think overall it's going to wind up being a really nice system. You know, the clips aren't broken or anything yet. Alright, where's the rest of this thing? Let's finish taking this thing apart. Okay, and again, right, the plastic could theoretically be very brittle here, so don't pull on these plastic tabs very, very hard. Is the bottom of the case yellowed? Yeah. Yep. So the bottom's going to need to be retrobrighted as well. Look at the way that wrapped around the leg right there. I mean, that's wild. I think all of these stickers are waterproof. I know in the Mac Classic and Plus and SE, the back big sticker in the back is waterproof. The serial numbers sometimes are waterproof, but sometimes not. So again, pop out the power supply. Again, we're just gonna pull very gently on these little plastic tabs. Lift that up. Let's pop this open eventually and see what kind of condition it's in. Yeah, I think this case is sort of a perfect example of how sunlight can cause retrobrighting, or not retrobrighting, yellowing. I mean, it could also be heat, right? It's not necessarily UV, but it's something. Oh, sorry about that. It's something about the way the light hits it. I'm going to be consulting with an organic chemist to talk about this in greater detail. This is actually kind of nice. Mine didn't have a tray, but this one does, the hard drive mounting tray. So eventually, when I when I give this away, it's going to come with a blue SCSI. So we'll get the blue SCSI mounted up nice in here. So that'll be pretty awesome for its new owner. But again, we have a lot more heat stakes on here, so let's pop them off. Retro Techie, can you have it? Of course you can, if you win it. Alright, so, while I'm doing this, so how this is gonna work, basically, and I'm sorry I have to do this, but this is only going to be available to US residents because the shipping is already going to be ridiculously insane. And also, I've been looking into the legality of giveaways, and unfortunately there's weird rules all around the world, so I'm going to restrict this to US residents only. So so basically all you have to do to get entered is to leave a comment on this video. Let me look into the laws of Canada, Retro Techie. I think we might be okay. The shipping is not great, but it's it's a little bit tolerable. Let me look into the laws of Canada specifically. Yeah, I would like to open it up to Canada too, because there's a lot of cool people in the community that could probably make use of this system. It's going to be a nice little LCIII. Okay, so there's all those parts. So yeah, the way to enter is just leave a comment to this video. I don't really care what the comment is, and then I have a date shown that will be the day I'll do another stream, and then I'll use one of those software picker things that's randomly selects a person. So it should be hopefully not too awful. Okay, so we got these things. So don't comment in this live stream thread. Do it. Put a comment in the video underneath at the end. So the backs of these things have a ton of heat stakes. Look at all them. But yeah, this is sort of my way of saying thank you to the community. This is my 128 subscriber giveaway. So yeah, I do have some other ideas for giveaways in the future that will make it so that I can do a worldwide giveaway. Because I do appreciate the community members that are all over the world, and it kind of sucks to restrict us only to the US. Yeah, Eric, comment everywhere and like. I'm gonna have to start being one of those YouTubers that's been like, like and subscribe and do all the thingies. I don't think I'll get there. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so there's that little part. Oh, that's why there's so many heat stakes here, because they have two pieces that they're trying to hold together on the back here. Look at this. You can even see like the yellow coming around the edge. I don't need any fancy G5s, Retro Techie, or unless you're talking about thank you, Flintlock. All right, K-Mac. All right, so this thing's out. No rust on this thing. Looks really good. A little bit of dust in the middle, but we're good there. But yeah, this is some yellowing. Look at that. So this is all going to get a nice little bath, and hopefully in a few days we'll have a nice pretty LCIII. Oh yeah, let's pop this thing open. So aside from the logic boards, the power supplies on these things can go. Zoom in a little bit on this one. There we go. Yeah, I really like the LC hardware, like the way you can work on it. How easy it is to totally get these things apart in no time. Yeah, I think the original LC does support 1.44 drives. Oh, 2 more screws. So for the for the logic boards, I typically buy my own caps because I buy a lot of them at a time. But for these power supplies, they tend to have so many random weird value caps that I just buy the cap kits on console 5. It just makes things a lot easier. I tend to not do as many power supplies as logic boards. Alright, so if we look at this, there's some residue. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can see the cap juice around the edge of that one. The, what's that one? A 1000 microfarad 10 volt. You can see the dark stuff right there. It's kind of hard to tell, like some of this stuff could just be flux residue. But that one, that darkness, you can tell that's definitely cap juice. That's a really good question, Garth. So I don't know if they should power up when they're not under load or not. I mean, let's try this one. It can't hurt anything too bad, right? I'm not going to keep it powered up for long. Where did I put my voltmeter? Where's my voltmeter? I just had it. And of course, y'all can't see my face right now because of my technical issues. Oh, here we go. All right. So let's pop that in there. Pop that one in there. So I do know that this one worked well enough to cause this thing to bong. I only turned this thing on briefly, just when I looked inside and saw that there was nothing really bad about it. Yeah, so it powered on. Voltage is good there. That's not good. So, oh, this is... See how slowly that's draining? That's always disconcerting. So I do not have a Kaiwitz whatever. But these, yeah, I mean, for certain systems, I'll hook up a power supply just to put on a little, or hook up a hard drive just to put a little bit of load on it. Like if it's a PC AT power supply, I'll stick a hard drive on there just to put some load on it. And typically I'll use something like a IBM Desk Star, or otherwise known as the Death Star, because those you can hear the thing spin up and click, and so you know it's got enough power to load it up. But you know, they're dead drives, so you're not going to hurt anything if you overvolt them. Okay, so unfortunately, that's going to be the end of today because I need to get my UV lamp so that I can do some of that. What's this stuff called? Solder mask. Get some solder mask on there, and fix it, hide all those spots on the analog or the logic board. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. So Adam, Eric's Edge, Retro Techie, the Mad Milkman, K-Mac Vintage, Flintlock One. Thanks everybody for stopping by. And again, all you have to do to enter the giveaway for the LC3 for this LC3 is to leave a comment to this video. Have a good day, everyone, and I will talk to you all soon.